Can we get the intro again, Pepe? We kind of got sidetracked. Christy interrupted the show and ruined it. All right, somebody had directed me towards a Noobifier video that condenses things as Noobifier does. Noobifier takes like 30-minute things and condenses them down to 2 to 3 minutes. I think it's a very valuable service. I actually appreciate that Noobifier does this. And I wanted to go over this because apparently when Star Citizen Live was on last Friday, Pappy was on, and I love Pappy. And Pappy's talking about 3.17, what to expect, and something very unexpected happened. And I don't know if Noobifier covered it, but let's check it out here.
Oh my god, it's pre-recorded Friday. So much fun.
Hello, YouTubers. This is Emoticons. I guess the team went out for St. Patrick's Day or something. Anyways, today is the 18th of March, Friday, 2022. There was an hour-long...
Yeah, Wookstree's absolutely right. I'm the opposite of Noobifier. I take like a 3-minute thing and extend it out into a 30-minute Joe Rogan segment or an hour Joe Rogan segment. Like, if you're listening to me, I'm very much like a live form podcast that just never ends. Some people don't like that, especially a lot of Star Citizen people don't like that because they love like a Noobifier condensed thing. But the intellectuals in the crowd, the ones who don't leave, that stick around, those are the ones I'm really talking to right now. The adults.
Long Star Citizen Not So Live with Todd Pappy. It's all about 317, and here's what you need to know. Jared was super nice and said that questions would not be taken from live chat because it's not a live chat, and then the rest of
There's a few Dutch. Wow, Noob's got like a timer where he counts down, man. I'm completely stressed the fuck out right now.
The hour, everyone was asking questions, and everyone else was saying it's not live. It's really funny. Todd is the Star Citizen Live director. He works with Tony Z and Chris Roberts to build out the PU. 317 is going to have a key binding for the ATC, and that'll simply call the closest one that's to you. And Todd said that there may be in the future a way to go tap and select. So if there's many in the same vicinity, you can choose the one you want. With refueling, there's going to be a fuel rebalance, and Todd said that they're working hard to make sure that it's a good initial balance that prevents this brutal situation where constantly people are all over the place running out of gas just to test the system. No one wants that. The Hull A should spawn extended if cargo is stored with it. There will be some items that are not sellable. Todd wants to launch 317 without a wipe. They're still planning to offer various grades of fuel with unique efficiency, range, and wear, but that's like in the future. Once resource management is worked into the game, there will be extra crew functions, such as being able to manage life support and perform basic repair. Todd said that this...
Okay, that's cool. I think something was going on with Noobifier's editing software. I saw some things going off and on right there. But, you know, one thing I love about what's happening is the fact that you're seeing a lot of converge in the economic realm. You're starting to see like salvage take a step into the spotlight. You're going to be starting to see a little bit more of the economic gameplay, I believe, going into 2022 that a lot of the industrials want. So let's keep watching here and let's check it out.
This is their goal, and this will allow for ships to be disabled rather than all encounters simply resulting in a ship being blown up, which is good because that's the TTK for your permadeath, right? Because of Alpha, some ships that were never intended to scoop fuel did, but that will no longer be the case now that fuel mechanics are being added. So just be on the lookout for that. There will be more ships available to buy in-game on 317, and he said something like the hover quad is 318. Refueling missions aren't being added in 317. Todd mentioned that both games, although similar, do have unique triage priorities. Todd wants to push harder on careers, but as Squadron is the priority, we were asked to be patient. Jared asked me directly.
And you know what? The focus being on Squadron is not a bad thing. I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, God, like people need to remember that the initial promise was, in fact, Squadron 42. They need to get this fucking thing out the door and they got to see how it does. Hopefully it goes banger and they bring in tons of revenue from it and that revenue will be pushed towards more development. I hope to God it does really well. And I think that you're going to see Squadron 42 being pushed very hard. And I will say that I think we're going to see Squadron 42 sooner rather than later.
To not sensationalize any of this show out of context in any of my summaries. None of it's sensational, okay? This is all on the level. Just for Jared. Todd always wants to improve the quality of life fixes throughout the 50 feature teams. He used the star map as an example. He said they know it's broken and they're working on it. The coffee shop vendor is just a reskinned bartender. Fishing is not a priority. A limited implementation of Quanta will drive parts of the economy balance in 317.
That is huge news. That's what I wanted to fucking go over here. Let's play that again. That actually is really huge news, and I hope Noobifier expands upon that, because if he does not, I will. Let's play that again. That is exactly what Shockwave, one of our members in the Discord, said. Hey, DG, you have to watch this because apparently Quanta is going to be coming out sooner than later. And for people who are wondering what Quanta is, it's the algorithm that dictates a simulated supply and demand for people who are into economic gameplay. So let's listen to that once more.
Bartender. Fishing is not a priority. A limited implementation of Quanta will drive parts of the economy balance in 317, which is cool. Todd confirmed that the
That's all Noob is going to say on that, Noob. Oh, I wish Noob would expand a little bit. Listen, Noob, I love you, dude. You're doing good work. You condense shit down, and I understand you got to, but like, man, I want to hear Noob expand upon that, and so I am going to. We have been waiting so long for some type of like idea of what we can expect from a supply demand economy side, from traders like Jack Axton, people who stream, who are into the industrial trading, space trucking kind of side of things, armchair Excel document warriors have been waiting for something more than an A to B shipping experience that you find in just about every other game. Elite Dangerous, like, and actually how it is right now in Star Citizen, because nothing really means anything right now. Like these prices that we're getting, these buy prices, these sell prices that we're getting right now, they're all just being plugged in by the economic Star Citizen team or Cloud Imperium team that's involved with the economic side of things. And they're just kind of plugging in prices and they're seeing how things move around. That's really where they're at right now. But this limited implementation of Quanta is a huge deal for me. And it should be a huge deal for a lot of people that are into trading, because it'll start to give meaning to what it is that you're shipping. I'm really curious to see if, in fact, supply and demand will be simulated as if players are trading with one another, kind of similar to how old school EVE was. That's what I'm hoping for, because I love that dichotomy. I love that kind of market. I love that supply and demand market where players dictated pricing. And you could really go to town with trying to make the best margin that you can. I'm not quite sure we're going to get that. I just want to see what this limited Quanta is going to give us. Like, I'm really curious, and I definitely will be making videos about that.
New desync unsmoothing,
right, Dutch? I hope so,
positional accuracy for
it's a big
smooth
deal.
Flight path. And that means that your target will be exactly where it's supposed to be more accurately, but that it might appear to jump around a little bit more than before. And then once they get that sorted out.
And there's a lot of like 50-50 on this tech, because there's a lot of people that love that style of trading, and there's a lot of people that are fearful of like being exploited. And the examples that I've always seen from people in Star Citizen and in people in EVE that are kind of like taken aback by this exploitation of pricing is that it's dangerous, and that people be careful, and nobody should be able to mark up something like this, and this is crazy. But on the flip side of things, like I use the example of EVE, right? Say you have a particular gun or a particular ship. Let's use a ship, for example. We're not going to be able to use ships as selling points and actual items that we can sell in Star Citizen. At least I believe that we won't be able to do that, but we'll be able to take items in a game, right? So let's take an item. Let's take like a particular item, like a mass driver, or some type of weapon that does very well and performs very well in PvP, okay? And let's take that particular item and say like we place it in a system that's like an outlaw system that's very hard to get to. And say you're a trader and You just take all of those fucking mass drivers, you put it on your ship, you stock up the fuck out of them, you get hundreds of them, put it on your whatever, your Caterpillar, you take it to an outlaw system, you actually survive, you get down into a station, you're like, holy shit, I made it, right? So then risk versus reward comes into play. Because you took a huge risk going into an outlaw system, you should then therefore get a huge reward, and you should be able to set price at a margin where you're like, hey, shit, I'm going to fucking put this price wherever the fuck I want because nobody else has this in a system where it's primarily PvP. And I've got a fucking weapon that everybody wants that can demolish my competition, right? Then you say, I'm going to jack up this price because I have the only item here that helps these people out. Now, that's the debate. A lot of people say, well, you can only market up to this. And there's other people like myself saying, why? Like, why? I just like, especially, and this goes to PvE people. The people who are into PvE should definitely be on my side here. This is an instance where like PvEers should say, yeah, DG's right. I took my ship into a system where I could be blown up. I stocked it filled with millions of credits of an item that definitely deserves to be marked up to whatever the fuck I believe it needs to be marked up to. And I should be able to sell it whatever I think it's worth, right? Because I took that risk. I'm a PvEer and I went to an outlaw PvP territory. I did not blow up. I went to a station. I should be able to sell it for whatever the fuck I want to sell it for. Now, the interesting thing is the PvE community is folding in on itself. The PvE community is saying, no, we don't want that. That's dangerous. Like, that's what blows my mind. Because the PvEs are fucking themselves in their own ass. I don't understand this. I don't understand the logic to the argument. Because it's going to be the PvEers primarily and the industrialists. And I'm not saying every industrialist is PvEer, by the way. But primarily, a large percentage of PvEers are industrialists. What I'm saying is, how much sense does it make if you're a PvEer and you take the risk and you say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to invest in this product, and I'm going to take it to a system that's an outlaw system. I'm going to get to the station. If I get to the station, and this is the argument. People are literally fucking themselves in their own ass, and they're saying, well, no, I shouldn't be able to set up whatever price because that's predatory. Right. And I was getting to that. Thank you, Dutch. Dutch is on my wavelength, right? So Tech, as an answer to what you're asking, right? Because I'm starting to see more development in the realm of economic gameplay in terms of what Dutch just mentioned, which is a refueling scenario where you can set prices on fuel, right? I think you're actually going to be able to do the same things with these items. Right. If you're able to set the prices on the fuel to whatever you want, because think about it. Fuel is a very needed commodity depending upon where you're at, especially if you're out of it. And there's a lot of organizations out there that are going to refuel these ships. And they're going to be like, hey, dude, you're stranded. Do you want to spend this much on our fuel or not? Because if you don't, peace out. You're still stranded, right? It's the same thing that's going to happen in scenarios with these items, or it should. So, very, very cool discussion. One of the reasons I wanted to play this video here, something Noobifire doesn't really expand upon, but that's not his style, that's my style. And that's what we do here on DG360. We talk about these things. It's actually quite interesting to hear the voices here and to see that most of them are supportive of the player. They should be. They should be very supportive of gamers. Being supportive of an economy that primarily focuses on the gamer and the rights of the gamer to do what they think or they have the freedom to do is a really important thing. to enforce your own freedoms in the game so that you can actually get the gameplay that you deserve. It's really important. So when I hear people kind of say, well, this is exploitive and you better be careful because people are going to exploit the shit out of this. Well, you know, exploitation in a market system is called margin. or profit. Welcome to capitalism. That's exactly what capitalism is, guys. Like, that's what people get off on the industrial side of things. It's like, how much can I make off of this? How do I make the most off of this? How do I take an item? Where do I find the demand? How do I get it there? And what should I sell it for? These are freedoms, right? The capitalism gives you in the real world. And this is actually what you should also have in the game. Oh, look at Dutch highlighting it, spending his points. He says, so DG, I think this will work exactly like you want it for transactions between players, but looking at last week's episode about selling weapons at shops, I reckon that won't be unlimited in pricing. Yes. And this is the debate and why it's a very important thing to talk about right now, Dutch, right? Because I talked about it on last episode of Inside Star Citizen Review as well. That was the biggest issue for me. Not that pop-up, but that was a big one too that I missed. I apologize. I apologize about that, Dutch. But the real thing that actually was the most important thing to get across in last week's Inside Star Citizen episode was I'm glad that they're introducing a way in which you can sell those items through the kiosk. But I also want a way in which you can sell items. And a lot of people were saying, hey, that already exists, DG, with the Mo Trader. You can talk to people and you can say, hey, this is the price I'm selling for people. This is the price I'm selling these weapons for. We saw it in a couple videos when we watched it on the morning stream where a guy had his own weapons set up in his Carrack and he brought somebody in his Carrack and said, hey, this is my weapon shop. It's very similar to early Banu Merchantman gameplay. And he invited the person into the Carrack and we watched it. And he bartered with the guy in general chat and he said, you know, hey, this is what we're selling and we're selling it for this. And the guy bought the gun. They traded it through the Mo Trader. The cash was sent. And that's great. That's all great and good. But there actually needs to be UI. There actually needs to be some type of code developed so that the transaction in itself is painless. And that's what needs to happen. And I think we're starting to see implementations of this within the kiosk. But I hope it kind of expands out further into a contract-based system or a buy order, sell order type market. That's really what I was looking for. That's really what I'm looking for.
They'll rebalance to make everything look good. Todd also said that if you have a slow PC, that this would behave less good as if you had a supercomputer. Jared swore and the editor did not fix it in post, as he was requested to. One River is what we have in 317, and chat suggested that we name it something. They're going to test that river and I love these references to other games. Thank you very much for spending.
Very good, very good. I'm glad. You know, it's kind of nice. This duality, this dichotomy between Noobifire and I. Like Noobifire is just like shooting you facts, and then I'm kind of like expounding. Maybe we'll watch more Noobifire videos. I noticed Noobifire. Shout out to Noobifire. He just subscribed to the channel. So thank you, Noobifire. I did notice that, by the way. Back to the party. Back to the party. Yeah. Oh, that was the wrong one. Pepe, that was the wrong sound effect, Pepe.